My name's Jane Simpson and I'm a careers advisor at a university. Well, if you've just graduated, you can probably still get information from your own graduate careers service. And certainly in our careers library, we've got some really useful books which are a good starting point. For example, we've got a really nice book by Lonely Planet all about volunteering on your gap year. We've got another one which is actually called Your Gap Year, which is an excellent thing because it's got so much in about different countries and different opportunities. And this one's actually called Work Your Way Around the World. Now, if you're not near a university, you can get those books from probably any bookseller actually, or buy them online. I mean, I suppose the first thing I would say is that you don't have to go through a company. I mean, some people actually plan their gap year themselves, and for example, they work their way around, having planned their itinerary, they actually pick up work along the way. But if you want something a bit more organised, there are companies like BUNAC, which do a summer internship in the USA. BUNAC also do one called Work Australia and Work Canada. There are things like Teach English in China, and the JET programme, which is actually teaching English in Japan. So they're very well organised and quite well structured. There's also things you might have heard of, such as Raleigh International, which do an awful lot of sort of international projects. And it might be that on a gap year you do 2 or 3 different things to make up your whole year. So there's so many. I think the problem is there are so many organisations out there. So you've got to do your research, check the costs, and I guess try and work out what suits you. Yeah. The value of gap years is just, it's kind of immeasurable really, because I think you develop so many skills. So for example, you might start off organising your trip. You might have to fundraise to get the money together for your trip. When you're actually on your gap year, you're going to be doing new experiences, so you might get some relevant experience for your CV. Things might go wrong. You have to sort them out, which is something you may not have had to do before, is independently sort out a problem while you're actually travelling. And then there's all the things you learn about yourself, whether it's a gap year or a short placement. People just come back so different, more confident, and they realise they can do so much more. And there was a local employer who, it was actually a student who'd done Camp America one summer, and that particular she's a graduate now, actually said she got her job because the employer thought that having done Camp America showed confidence and initiative and ambition. And that kind of tipped the balance in her favour, having got the job. So employers are really positive about the value of gap years, yeah. Absolutely. As a person who's done a couple of gap years plus gap 6 months kind of thing. Yeah, I think it gets you out of your comfort zone. And I think people who are thinking that's a bit scary are probably the very people that need to go and do a gap year, because especially if you've been in your comfort zone and you've perhaps stayed at home during university. I think you've got to branch out sometime. And I think the amount of confidence you get from doing a gap year or just trying out something new. If a year's too much, do something in the summertime. But that might then give you the confidence to go and do something a bit longer. Again, the other thing to think about, if you're thinking about doing a gap year in the UK, there's a really interesting organisation called Community Service Volunteers. And that's quite good, I suppose, if you're looking for, especially for a career where you might be working with disadvantaged people or in a supporting role. And you do it away from home, and you actually get accommodation, a small weekly allowance, I don't know how much it is, and you get your meals. So it actually enables you to leave home but stay in the UK and get something fantastic for your CV. But I noticed on their website that they actually do things abroad as well. So Community Service Volunteers is a really interesting organisation. It's been around for a long time, so it's a good organisation.